Few years ago, I watched a program called Britain's Bloodiest Dynasty, The Plantagenets, and it was episode one called The Betrayal. This was an absolutely amazing program, and it taught me so much about Henry II because I didn't really know anything about him at the time. The thing is, Henry II never intended to have Becket murdered. That in a fit of Plantagenet rage, he said some things, and the knights around him took it as he wanted Becket dead. So the next day, those knights burst into Canterbury Cathedral and murdered Becket. Word quickly spread that Henry II had Becket murdered in the house of God. This is where the trouble began for King Henry. In the spring of 1174, Henry II faced a storm of revolt around his empire, which began with the betrayal of his family. His sons, Henry and Richard, along with their mother, Eleanor of Aquitaine, had turned against him. Scottish King William I, also known as the Lion, had invaded northern England, and Henry feared all of England would be lost. It was at this time that he realized that the ghost of Becket would haunt his reign forever if he didn't do something quick. On the 12th of July, 1174, Henry II headed to Canterbury Cathedral. Just outside the city, he stopped and removed his boots. He walked barefoot through the muddy streets, dressed as a pilgrim. He walked through broken shards of pottery, mud, and whatever you can imagine on the streets of medieval England in 1174. As he walked, he left behind bloody footprints. Henry walked 3 miles to Canterbury Cathedral. When he arrived, he walked to the shrine of Becket in the crypt of the cathedral. Once there, he knelt down in front of Becket's tomb and commanded the monks to whip him. These were some of the same monks who had witnessed Becket's murder 3 years earlier. Henry received 300 lashings, and as part of the deal, those same monks would have to spread the word of his penance. The next morning, Henry II found out that the Scottish king had been captured and the northern invasion was over. He took this as a sign that his penance was accepted by God. After the capture of the Scottish king and the penance of Henry, the English rebellion had no more fuel, and the barons soon followed. Henry had regained control of England. But the next step was his sons, Henry and Richard, and his wife, Eleanor. He did just that. But what did he do with his wife and sons? The betrayal of a queen and wife was considered far worse than that of sons. So Henry sent Eleanor into captivity, but forgave his 2 sons because he needed heirs to the throne. This by no means is the end of Henry II's story. There's so much more to tell. But today we just looked at the murder of Thomas Becket and the penance of Henry II.